Hey everyone, my name is Riley and this video is a step-by-step tutorial on the project management tool Motion. I will be showing you every aspect of the Motion software, including how you can get a free Motion trial, how you can set up, integrate and use the calendar feature inside of Motion, how we can use the projects area to plan out, collaborate and reach your goals with your team, and then also how you can use the booking area to create a simple yet effective booking link. So if you have just picked up Motion or you are thinking about getting this software, then this video is going to be perfect for you. Without further ado, let's jump right into the tutorial. Now, the first thing that we need to do is create a Motion account. If you do not yet have an account and you want to claim a free trial to Motion, you can do so using the first link down in the description. So once you have clicked on that link, that is going to take you over to this page right here on Motion, where we can go ahead and claim this 7-day free trial. So all we have to do is click on Try Motion for free. And from here, we can go ahead and create an account. So we can do this using either Google, Microsoft, Apple, or just an email. And I'm going to do this with Google. So we can go through and click continue. And this is now going to prepare Motion. We then have two options where we can choose if we are going to be using this as an individual. So if you are using this as a personal project management just for yourself, you can go with individual. However, if you do have a team and you want your entire team to be able to collaborate on this, then we can choose this team option, which is also cheaper. So in this example, to show you all of the functionality and all of the different things that we can do with Motion, I'm going to select the team. On this next page, this is where we can enter in some payment information. Once again, this is a free trial for 7 days. And if you try this and don't like it, you can cancel at any time. At the top here, we can also choose how many seats we have or how many members are in your team. So we can choose between having 3 team members all the way up to 50. And of course, this is going to affect the price. But once you have sorted all of this out and we have everything entered here, we can click on this Start Trial at the bottom, and that is going to activate our free Motion trial. So in here, it's going to give us a video. Let's just go up and skip this. And next, we need to connect a calendar to Motion. So just click on Connect Account, and then you can either hook up a Google Calendar, an Outlook, or an iCloud calendar. And if you do not use any of these calendars yet, then I would recommend going with Google, as in my opinion, it's just the best and most effective calendar. So let's click Google Calendar, and then we can go through and add this. And then we can give Motion access to all of this calendar. So just accept all of that, click on Continue, and then your calendar will show up as linked right here. You can choose to add other calendars if you have multiple calendars that you use. Otherwise, we can just click I've connected all calendars I use. And that's going to take us through to this next page. So just click on your email right here. And then once again, select all calendars. And right here, this is where we can set your weekly work hours. So for me, I'm going to keep this nice and simple. Just say 9 to 5, Monday to Friday. But you can click into here. And you can choose the time that you start work, the time that you finish work, and then you can uncheck and check the days that you work. I'm happy with how this looks though, so just click on Continue. And right here, it's going to ask about some recurring tasks. Now, if you do have recurring tasks on your calendar, for example, lunch, or even check emails, meditate, any of these right here, you can check these off. However, I'm just going to skip because I want a nice blank template. Next, we can choose exactly what we are working on this week. So by default, we have things like create YouTube video, create draft plan for team, send proposal, do meal prep. But in here, I'm just going to keep this nice and simple and say customer acquisition outreach. When I am setting up this entire Motion board right here, I'm personally going to do this from the point of view as somebody who runs a marketing agency. So you can add up to 5 things here. We can also choose the due date, the amount of time that we want to set to this. But once again, on this screen, it's not super important, and we will customize all of this once we actually dive into Motion. So we can click on Next. In here, we can add some team members. So I'm just going to call this GeForce North. This is my team name. And then I can go ahead and invite team members right here by simply entering in their email. So this is the first email that I am going to be inviting. And then I'm also going to invite this second email right here. So these are the emails of the 2 team members I am going to invite. And then we can click on create team and send invites. Next, we can then choose a theme right here. So we can choose between the dark theme, the light theme, or default system settings. I'm going to go with light, and then we can click continue. Just like that, we are now going to be taken into motion, and we are ready to start building this out and actually getting into the meat and potatoes of this tutorial. However, before we jump into that, I just want to show you this final thing. And when you invite team members, like I did earlier on, this is the email that your team member will receive. So right here, it says Riley has invited you to join their team on Motion. All your employee or team member has to do is click on join your team. They can then go through and set up their own Motion account. And when they do this, they will automatically be added to your Motion team. But let's go back over to Motion. And once we are here, right now we are in the calendar section. You are usually going to get a pop-up asking if you want to download the desktop app. So you can absolutely do this. The Motion desktop app is absolutely awesome. But just to keep this nice and simple, we are going to stay on the web browser. So under the calendar section, this is pretty simple and pretty easy to lay out. And this is going to integrate with whichever calendar you set up. So I already created this task. Let's just go ahead and delete this so that we have a blank space. Now, once that calendar is empty, effectively the way that we use this calendar is to schedule out and plan out our day. So we have 2 options. We can either go up and click on add task and then add the task this way. Or alternatively, we can just click on the time that we want to add this task. So let's say at 12 p.m. I want to take lunch. I can go to 12 p.m., click this here, and then add in the event title, which is lunch. From here, we can then choose like guests, conferencing, location. We can choose if we are busy or free. And then up here, we can also choose if this repeats. So we can choose to repeat this daily, weekly on Thursday, monthly on the second Thursday, and so on and so forth. We can also choose if this is an all-day task, and then we can set the time for this task up here. So let's leave this one in lunch. We can also change the color of this by using this bar. So let's go ahead and set up lunch and say this repeats daily. And just like that, this lunch is going to create and then auto-populate every single day. So if I now go along to the next week, you can see lunch is going to repeat every day. Now let's say we just have a one-off task. Maybe tomorrow at 2 p.m. we have a sales call. We can go down to 2 p.m., click into here, and let's say this is a sales call with Gary. Now I'm expecting the sales call to take maybe an hour. So I can choose from this menu, the start and finish time. Then of course, this is not going to repeat. We can then add guests. So in here, maybe we want to go ahead and add Gary's email. So we could go like Gary at example.com in there, and then add the guest right there. Next, we can add a description. This is completely optional and up to you if you want to add this, but I could add in a description here. And we can say sales call with Gary potentially becoming a client. Next, we can set the meeting location, whether this is a phone number, whether this is a Zoom call, custom location. If we were to go with Zoom or Google Meet, we can click into Zoom and Google Meet and then link up our Zoom or Google Meet account. And this is going to give us a link. So if I actually go ahead and link up Zoom right here, this is now going to set up a link, and right here, we can see the link for the call. So all we would have to do, once this is set up, if I just go ahead and create this, is we can now simply click into here, click on this Zoom link, and this is now going to take me over to Zoom where I can take this call with Gary. So the calendar is super simple. Honestly, if you have used like Google or iCloud Calendar before, it's not really much different to using that. And the awesome thing about this is everything is automatically going to integrate with Google. So if I go ahead and pull up my Google Calendar, you can see all of the things that I just added here. The lunch, the sales call with Gary is going to show up. And then I can also do this the other way around. So if I want to add here that I want to hit the gym and I add this to Google Calendar, once again, this is going to show up in Motion at the same time that I added this to my calendar. So that is the calendar menu. all of the different tasks that we have scheduled are going to show up on this right hand side. We can see the tasks I have today, the tasks I have tomorrow, and then the tasks I have on the 10th of February. If you want to delete tasks, all we have to do is click on the task, then go to these three dots at the top where we can change the color, and simply click on delete. It's then going to ask if we want to delete just this event or all events, and if I select all events, that's going to remove all of that specific event from my calendar. We can also view the calendar from the weekly or a daily format. If I switch to the day, it's just going to bring up that day. And as I said, pretty simple. There's not too much explaining that needs to go into this, but really the true power of Motion comes from this project section right here. Under projects, this is where we can really come together with our team or even as an individual and really start planning out certain tasks and how you can move the company forward. So first of all, let's go ahead and create a workspace name. For me, this is an agency, and one of the most important and vital aspects of running an agency is of course getting more clients. So I'm going to call this sales and client acquisition. We can then go next and create a first project right here. So under sales and client acquisition, maybe we want to go ahead and send some outreach. So in here, I will title this February outreach because that is the current month that we are in. We can click on next, and now it's going to ask us to create some different tasks. So in here, our team can now come into the sales and client acquisition part. We have February outreach here, and now we can tell our team exactly what we want doing to make the outreach successful. So maybe up here, we can say that we want to reach out to 1,000 prospects via email. Then for this second task, we want to follow up with January's prospects. And then for the last task, we will just leave this and click on next. Now in here, we can see under February outreach, we now have these two tasks. So follow up from January's prospect and reach out to 1,000 prospects via email. But we can take this even a step further and tell our team exactly how we want this doing. So for example, I can click into here where it says reach out to 1,000 prospects via email. And in this description, I can create a checklist for my team for everything that they need to do to make this goal a reality. So the first one, I can say use Apollo prospecting software to find 1,000 leads in the plumbing niche. Then I said create 3 different emails to test out. Then test the 3 emails by sending each email to 100 people. And then whichever email had the best response rate, send that to the other 700 leads. Now we can go ahead and save this task, and our team can now come in here. They can see under February outreach, the tasks that we want to do, and then they can click into here and see exactly step by step the things that they need to do in order to complete this task. Once they have gone through and done this, they can simply go ahead and check off each of these tasks, and that is how they can complete this task. So if we now go ahead and save this, let's back out and we can see everything else here. So the workspace, this is currently in sales and client acquisition. We then have the deadline. So we can click into this and set a deadline. So because this is February outreach, I probably want to go and add this to the end of February for both of these. We can then add a status right here. So either us or our team members can come along here and they can change this status. So right now we have backlog, blocked, completed, in progress, planning, and to do. Maybe we want to add another status in here and say that this is under review. And then we can add a color to this. We can then click add status, and that is now going to be added. But effectively, the awesome thing about this is our team can now come along and they can let us know just how far along on that task they are. So let's say under reach out to 1,000 prospects, they've done these first 2 tasks. We can then save this task right here and update this status to in progress. Once this task has been complete, we can set this to completed, and we can really get an overview here of every single task and how far along this is. Under priority, this is where we can set the priority of this task. So we can set this to low priority, medium, high, or ASAP. We can also set the duration, like how long this is going to take. So I'll set these both to not sure. Then we can also add an assignee to each of these tasks. So right now, of course, this is set to me, but what we can also do is if you have different team members that are a part of your team, you can click into this and then we can go ahead and add new assignees once they have been added into here. So if we have, let's say, a guy called Frank who is part of our team, he will show up right here and we can assign Frank to this task. We also have labels, so you can add in different labels right here. It's completely up to you. I usually just go ahead and hide this column. Blockers are the same, like there's no real reason to have this, so let's remove this. And then we can also have completed at. So let's say this task is complete. This is automatically going to update to as soon as we set this task to complete, this is going to update. And then under project, of course, we have this as February outreach. We can also add new columns along here. So we have a bunch of different things that we can add, and we can hide and unhide different sections right here. For example, created at, we can add this in. And just like that, this is going to show us when each of these tasks was created. So I'm just going to hide this for now. Now we can also switch this view to a Kanban view. So if we go up to the top here, this is going to switch to a Kanban view and allow us to see all of the different statuses right here. So this is not super handy right now because we only have 2 tasks. However, when we start having 50 to 100 tasks, this can be super useful because we can see where in this timeline all of these different tasks are. Now, right now, this is in the complete wrong order. We have completed at the start, to do second. So what we can do is simply drag and drop these around. We want to have completed at the end. So to do, and then planning, and then we will go in progress, under review, and then we will actually go for backlog and blocked at the end right here. So right now we have this whole Kanban chart, and then our team can come along, and as they change these different statuses right here, this is automatically going to update on the Kanban chart. Now, the final section that we are going to talk about is this booking section right here, and this is where you can create a booking link for your motion. So just click into set up my booking links right here, and in here, this is where we can set up the booking link. So first of all, we can choose a schedule. By default, this is going to be set to the work hours that we set up at the start, but you can customize this completely. You can add any time, day, night, personal hours, anything like this. We can also add a buffer time, and this is essentially going to give you a little break in between meetings to make sure that you don't have back-to-back meetings with no break in between. So we can choose whether we don't want to have one at all, whether this is a 5-minute break, 10-minute break, 15-minute break, and so on. We can also choose in here attendance requirements, and this is effectively going to check your calendar to make sure that you don't already have something there. So for example, it would check my calendar and see that I have a sales call with Gary at 2 p.m. tomorrow. What this would do is this would then block that time slot out so that people cannot then book over that slot and clash between them 2 meetings. We can also set a duration for each of these meetings. So right now, this is by default set to 30. We can also add a second option, and let's add a 30 and 60-minute meeting. We can then once again choose the location, so we can choose between Google Meets, Zoom, phone number, or custom location. And once again, you can set this up just like I showed you at the start. We can also choose to send reminder emails before booking. And what this is going to do is whoever booked the meeting, it's going to send an email to them in a specified time period before to remind them of the meeting. So we can set one to send out 24 hours before, 2 hours before. I like to go for an hour, and then we can also edit the message right here. So right now it's going to say hello, and then whatever their name is that they entered when they booked the meeting. Looking forward to our meeting at the time until the meeting at meeting times. I always just leave this, like there's no real reason to change this. It's a pretty cool message. And down here, you can also customize the link. I don't see any reason to do this, so let's just go ahead and create this booking page. And right here, it's now going to generate a link. So if I go ahead and copy, we can also choose if we want to have people access the 30 or 60-minute time slot, or let them choose the duration. Now, before we go ahead and start using this link, there is one more important thing that you can add to your booking link. If we go into edit right here, we can scroll down and we can add different questions that we want to add before they book a time. So in here, we can change question 1 to maybe like, are you an e-com brand? We can set this to multiple or single line and then say this is required because we only work with e-com brands. Then we can add a new question and say, are you doing over 50k per month in revenue? And once again, you can essentially use this section just as like a pre-qualifier to make sure that people who aren't a fit for your business aren't going to book in these calls. So we can then go ahead and save this. Let's go out and save changes. And now we can copy this link. So if I now go ahead and paste this up here, this is how the link is going to look. It's first of all going to ask them how long would you like to meet? Because if you remember, I chose the 2 different 30 and 60 minute sessions. So let's go for 30. They can then choose to book in a time right here, enter their name, their email, and then the 2 questions that we added down here. Are you an e-com brand? We can say yes. Are you doing over 50k per month? Yes. Schedule event. And just like that, this event has been scheduled at 12 p.m. on Monday. So if we now go back over to Motion and we go to the calendar, what date was this? So this was Monday, the 12th of February at 12 p.m. If we go to that date, this is going to be set up right there. The Zoom meeting, we can go straight in and simply click on the Zoom meeting right here, or copy and paste this, I should say, and be taken straight over to that meeting. The prospect that booked in that call is also going to get an email from Motion. Your new event has been scheduled. They will also have a Zoom link because we set this up, the event and time. You can also create multiple booking links. So we have this first one. We can go up and create a new one right here. And then we can just go ahead and fill out all of the information just like we did before. The final thing that I want to show you is just some of the backend settings that we can set up with Motion, such as adding different team members and things like this. So all we have to do is go up to settings right here, and this is going to take us over to the settings area. We can go into the view and change the theme right here if we so want to. We can choose whether we want to start the week on a Sunday or a Monday. We can then go down to conference settings, and this is where we can set up like Zoom and Google Meet, things like this. We can change time zones, select your specific schedule. So in work hours up here, we can go in and edit this and then choose the work hours that we have. We can also set up custom schedules down here for maybe weekends. If you work weekends, you can set up different schedules for weekends and so on. Notifications, this is where we can choose all of these different notifications. The notifications that are sent to you via email, via mobile, via browser and desktop. Next, we have integrations. So there's not really many integrations on Motion, and this is a huge downside. We can literally only link up Zapier or email. Usually with project management tools, there are a bunch of integrations that you can get, not with Motion though. We then have the booking links where we can go ahead and change the booking link, the default available message. And down here, this is where we can go ahead and add in new team members. So as you can see, these are all the team members that I have in my team. We can simply go ahead and remove members. Or if you want to add a new team member, we can click on invite member. Once again, enter their email just like we did at the start. Click on send invite, and then they will be sent that invite link to join. So that is my step-by-step tutorial of Motion. If you found this video valuable, don't forget to smash that like button and tap that subscribe button. And until next time, take it easy.